있습니다. 그럼 서경환 캐스터님 나와주세요.
네, 잘 받았습니다. 안녕하세요. 2018 HGC K.
We got casters in our ear there for a second, so I guess like in technicality, he came out on our stream. But my name is Wolf. G-Clef is back. Got good matches today. Could today be the day we don't get 2-3 zeros? Nah, probably not.
The first one, yes. but second one, I am actually hyping this one up because Supernova, they are... What's wrong with my mic? Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, I hear you. Right.
Supernova, I think they are strong enough to actually take maps off of Miracle. You do have to compare that Supernova, they had their 3-0. Of course, they're in top 4 right now, but only 2 days of matches, and they were against Feliz when Miracle was against Ballistics, so that doesn't really compare too much. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to open the box in match 2 and see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean that's the real tell for, I think, both teams. That's why it's such an exciting match. I know you're leaning towards a Miracle victory. I'm kind of leaning towards a Supernova victory, but it's going to be an exciting one. First series, though, I mean, Feliz, they could not defeat Supernova. They come off that hard loss. They're going to have to face Tempest here, who comes off of a strong win just yesterday. So you could argue they're even warmed up. You know, both of them have the doubleheader this week, Feliz and Tempest, both playing twice. That's just how it goes. So a rough week for Feliz if they end up losing this match. Well, the meta is still settling a little bit. One thing I want to focus on today is how much Lunara do we see, because Lunara seems to be very powerful right now. We're seeing her played by the winning teams quite a bit. Asgard played her yesterday, had some struggles, but he almost turned that Towers of Doom game around.
Yeah, you can't really take that poison damage out. I was watching the VOD, of course. Rapid was here yesterday, and then I was looking at some of the Ballistics games as well, and I'm thinking, where does all that damage come from? I mean, SU, and the entire team was just basically destroying. They were on their feet running, but the poison just gets the kill at the end.
Yeah, especially when you're running Karzim. Because Karzim, first of all, he runs Iron Fist now. There's no his old healing build. So you have to keep in mind.
No, Trends is not the build. No.
You have to keep in mind that like Karzim's heal is not on a super long cooldown like Uther, but everyone has to be grouped every time he wants to get the maximum value out of his healing, and it's not on a short cooldown. So I think that Lunara is a really strong pick when Karzim's on the other side, and that's where we've mostly been seeing Lunara in this tournament. So where, you know, we continue to see Lunara fall is going to be very exciting to me, because she's never really been a very meta hero here in Korea. It's been more of the European region that has been dominating with her over the past years, with players like Quagnix picking up and doing well.
Yep, and maybe she will become the meta hero, as we soon have Vala. Where's Vala? What happened to Vala? I mean, we saw some Vala Ariel at group stage, and ever since the first weekend, she's just gone, you know?
Yeah. So, I'm thinking that there's a chance that we do see some Vala peek back in. And there was a possibility yesterday, I thought, where we could see the Vala Ariel slide in, but it didn't end up happening. It just depends on, I think, the Battleground. I think the best chance we see of Vala is either going to be Infernal Shrines or or probably BOE is what I was going to say.
Oh, yes.
So look at these standings. The big story again is Supernova and Miracle. They could both, you know, end up, if Miracle wins, with a 3-0 tied at 1-1 and 0-0 and kind of settle in the middle. But right now, you know, we have this line drawn because we had 12-0. We had, you know, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0 in terms of matches.
We didn't really expect this, but it is going to change starting from now on, because first 2 days, I mean 8 teams, they all got to play once. Happened to be 3s and 0s, but for today, match 1 may still be a little bit one-sided, as Tempest looked very strong yesterday, and Feliz still having some struggles. They lost against Supernova 3-0, so that does tell a lot about what's going to happen in match 1. But I would like to see Feliz really stepping up with the drafting, because they have been picking up some of the really high tier picks from MSP, but it doesn't seem to fit them too well in the actual game.
Yeah, I mean, they're just drafting for the meta. They're drafting for safe you know, they're drafting the Blaze, for example, early. They're drafting the Jaina. They're trying to go for burst or anti-burst, depending on what their opponents are drafting. But it was Supernova going for double globals in the first game, playing around the Stitches pick that we saw Feliz fail with.
Yeah.
So
Supernova even brought in Brightwing, and they actually pulled it off in the Cursed Hollow, I believe. That was great. And Feliz just had a massive trouble just following the macro, and the game was just over because of that.
Yeah, I think that's the real key factor here is will Miracle be able to out-rotate, out-macro Supernova? Will they be able to challenge them in terms of the globals in the draft while still maintaining a strong draft? Because we saw the Zarya come through as well from No Chat. I mean, this team is showing us 3 different styles in the course of just one series. So, you know, we wondered when the series was over, how much more are we going to see from them, or are they going to go back to standard? You know, we don't know the answers to those questions just yet, but this is the team that they defeated with just some overall mishaps, shall we say, and just they didn't look coordinated. And OJ, we didn't want to start criticizing them after day 1, but by the end of it, I think you could say that the tank play left a lot to be desired.
Aha, he caught off guard. I think it's because, to make a soccer reference once again, like, you can have all the strikers all you want, but you gotta connect the balls from the mid line to actually let the ball go to them and make sure they do the damage. But I think they're missing the mid line, and that comes from the Bruiser sometimes with the solo lane, sometimes with not enough healing because they're so separated apart. So that's why OJ keeps on dying by himself all the time, just staying in the front line.
Yeah, I mean, if OJ is dead, you know, you're basically trying to shoot goals from the defenders are trying to shoot goals, right? You know, you have to basically set up in such a way to where OJ can peel. He can also set up engagements with CC. With the Stitches pick, for example, on Cursed Hollow, he was just completely isolated by Brightwing coming in, polymorphing him. The stuns came through with the Blaze as well. Tempest was not flawless yesterday. There were a few overextensions, with Lockdown in particular on the Falstad, dying in the top lane, trying to dive these solo laners. So they're not a perfect game by Tempest yesterday, and their third map, Towers of Doom, definitely led to some overextensions. And as Rapid and I were talking about yesterday, I felt like a lot of the time it was a little bit of a, not disrespect, but just underestimating their opponents in some team fights, expecting their mechanical skill would carry them through some of these fights where, in fact, they were countered. Where we saw Overlord actually take the off-lane role, which was really interesting to me, playing the solo lane ETC. And, you know, there was some surprises there, but at the end of the day, Tempest didn't look as clean as we expected.
Oh yes, I think it's only the beginning for them, because Dami and Good, they kind of swapped roles. Well, it's not really swapping roles, but I guess the lanes they go to, because they do have lots of overlapping hero pool. And Dami was actually okay with his Sonya, which he used to actually be able back at, when was it? When he was with Honkono a long time ago, back in Miracle, I believe?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, because he didn't play it on Tempest back in 2016 because Lockdown played it. That's why it was so weird to see Falstad and Sonya played in that way. So normally it was switched. Well, here are our map bans. We will have the Braxis Volskaya, classic old school bans here with the Infernal Shrines pick for Feliz. This has actually been a pretty highly banned map, actually, with the new Alexstrasza meta and everything settling on this battleground recently. We just have not seen as many games on Infernal. People are avoiding it, I think, as people are trying to figure out in Korea, the lower teams who did not attend Mid-Season Brawl, and to figure out how to draft here.
OJ was practicing Garrosh a lot in Hero League, personally, in his. So we see that ban, not just because Garrosh is just top tier right now, because OJ was specifically practicing their heroes so much. See that taken out instantly by Tempest. And if I know, everyone knows. They should all know that.
Oh yeah,
that has been the info out there. Because if you play Hero League, I mean, they oftentimes meet each other all the time.
I have to say though, I feel like it's a little bit too late to be practicing Garrosh at this point. You know, I mean, he was at the peak of his meta right before Mid-Season Brawl and at Mid-Season Brawl. He has not been very highly prioritized in terms of Warrior. Johanna has passed him in this tournament, like massively. We're seeing even Muradin picked over him oftentimes, so it's a smart ban by Tempest, nothing against it, but just a worrying trend for a player who's feels 2 steps behind now on a weaker team. For Tempest, they have a lot of choices now. They see the Maiev coming out here with the Blaze, makes the Jaina pick less viable. So they're going to go down the Tracer route. The Sonya pick here. I think this should indicate a Tyrael ban from Feliz. Saw Tempest run the Tracer Tyrael yesterday with Judgment, in fact. To great effect.
Oh, the Ballistics.
Oh, that was Ballistics, yeah, my bad.
Someone watched the bot. Yes, I did. Yes, which was great. They had the pulse bomb right after the stun. Disconnecting with, and then they were getting Phoenix kills all the time before he warps out. He had no chance of warping out of there. So having Judgment, just securing the kill. Tracer in this case, unless they have some real good threat like instant CC like from Uther that's gonna stun lock Tracer, or a good pair up with this Groot or from Dr. Kane, they may actually not need the Tastar to actually go with them.
Yeah, it's possible. I think you're gonna need either the Tastar or the or the Tyrael. But the Medivh ban is a little bit odd.
Yeah, they're just testing it because they saw this similar combo. Maybe they're thinking about Diablo, Sonya, and Medivh. Has been the crazy combo that was super powerful in phase 1. So they're just thinking ahead and in history of what they felt in pain last time.
Alex Strasser ban here. Just kind of a safe ban given her popularity at the moment. I got a bit of a stuffy nose suddenly. But Feliz now, I have to make a tough choice because getting through the front line of Sonya and what the second tank will be, which is probably going to be a counter to one of their TPSs, like Johanna, is very likely going to be the choice here if they go for an auto attacker as their second DPS. It's a tough moment, and we still haven't seen any Junkrat, but for this battleground, the Maiev pick and with the Blaze here, I think the Junkrat's still solid. I don't think they'll go for it because there's always the risk, because Junkrat can't really protect himself well against the Tracer outside of Concussive Mine. But I think that they're probably going to go with something a little bit safer. Like even the Li Ming or the Phoenix, yeah, is the better choice. They steal the Johanna pick away as well. Very intelligent play here.
Great help. We'll have great control on the Shrine, as well as Phoenix has an own escape as well. Can actually neglect, if you have the perfect time, you can actually eat that pulse bomb.
Yeah, it's very difficult to do.
It's hard,
it's hard,
but it is possible. And Tracer is going to go for the kill on the Phoenix most of the time, and there's that Blaze for the bunker for the protection. So I do like the ban picks from Feliz so far.
I think that the Tyrael is almost a must pick now, right? You've got Warden's Cage to deal with, most likely. I don't think this is going to be a containment this game. You have the shields that allow Tracer to get that extra Malfurion healing, the sustain healing that'll keep her alive to do extra damage. And then you could just grab, you know, something like the Li Ming I was mentioning earlier.
Li Ming is not the most solid choice in the Shrines. When you go against the defenders, they actually block all the shots oftentimes.
That is true.
So Li Ming is not like #1 choice of the mages here.
Could be Falstad as well. Okay, wow.
Just did
not expect
another
the Hanzo.
DPS.
All right, well.
That is a little surprising, but Sign did play lots of Anubarak in this one, and just cocooning one of the ones out. Make sure when they have the CC along with Maiev's cage, making sure it doesn't really follow up perfectly. The cocoon will delay the timing at least.
Yeah, the era of double support Tracer is kind of dying. It feels like, you know, she's been nerfed significantly multiple times, and on her current PTR nerf even further. So she just doesn't do the damage output required to be a solo DPS anymore. It feels like, even at, you know, though the Tastar can do a lot there. The Karazim pick was very likely to happen after we saw, you know, no Tyrael here, because you're not going to be worried about pre-16 stuns too much, even with the Anubarak on the other side.
You can kind of tell because he was onto a choke, and Leo actually played 0 games of Karazim. I'm counting all the phase 1 games, and he has never played a Karazim. And usually only picked often by, not KSB, or Genji only, and since then, because they were using it with Tastar so many times, it actually became the meta. Seems like they are following that trend again.
Yeah, it's very much a meta-following trend. Like, I think that's the best way to describe what Feliz has done in their last 4 drafts now in regular season here. Let's see what they can do as we head into game. They are the underdogs. Tempest brings in good once more on the Hanzo. And what's interesting about Good's playstyle is been playing a lot like Poik from Midseason Brawl. I want to point this out. It's mostly on Dragonshire where you've seen this, but what they'll do is they'll leave Hanzo in an off lane, so they'll do a 1-3-1 split. So it'll be the Tracer, Malfurion, and Nubrok in the 3 around mid lane. And they'll roam, you know, sometimes they'll invade a camp, sometimes they'll head top. But it'll be Hanzo who splits in the bot solo lane, so you have the Sonya top, the Hanzo bot. This is post 10, of course, and this is when Hanzo can use his arrow to help change fights, and it's very, very useful. It's not a global hero, it's not a hero that can teleport globally, but he can have an impact globally with his heroic.
It is also because if you make Hanzo a roam, you actually lose a lot of your time, which could be potentially just picking up stacks onto your level 1 simple geometry, which makes some significant difference in the shrine phase early on if you finish that quest very quickly.
Yeah. But it's a fantastic trade here for Tempest in the level 1. Just harassing now.
And Phoenix does a lot of wave clear, especially with that level 1 talent now, which has been picked so many times ever since the MSB. A little before that, but it wasn't like picked all the time. And actually, you need to switch your weapon every single time to do it. So it takes a lot more micro skills as well.
It takes a lot of experience. Yeah, Phoenix hasn't been out that long, but people are starting to learn. Hanan biting off more than you can chew here. He's going to get body blocked. He's definitely going to go down. Gets the stun, though. Might make it a trade, and he does.
Recalls, but does go down to the extra damage. And Aimer also very low. Had to use the Vault.
That was a really nice E there as well to pull Dami away so that he got interrupted there, so couldn't use his Whirlwind and couldn't get his sustain. Notice already the off soak coming up from Good, though. He's been on the off lane this entire time. So while the 1-3-1 allows Tempest to roam with the Tracer and Nubrok Malfurion, even though it's more powerful post 10, he's still got great wave clear. He's still able to sit in that lane and get the extra soak. So that's what keeps Tempest, despite the poor trade, even in experience.
They had some nice connections along with the tether as well. So if that continues, even on lockdown, who's on Tracer, the recall's on a long cooldown once that's used. They just have to wait for the right time. They do have lots of CCs to provide, along with the Blaze and Johanna as well. And Karazim does kind of counter out Tracer, and they don't have a Taskler either on their side. So I think Karazim has a lot of key points in these kind of team fights.
Yeah, Karazim is so good against high mobility heroes like the Genji, the Tracer, the Zeratul. And you just are able to save a target who's the focus, and you're also able to counteractively point click to do damage. You counter the mobility, and Karazim with his Iron Fist does do quite a bit of damage. So they got the neutral camp bottom, but it doesn't end up mattering all too much. The timing of the Shaman camp is going to be better here for Tempest. We'll see if they commit to clearing the top first. It's a very even game here that we have, actually. I think it's because the Tempest draft is not ideal for the Battleground, and the Tracer pick they prioritized early doesn't have much synergy, so they can't get picks early like a Tracer comp would normally have, so they are relying on good split soak, which we've been seeing so much of. They're actually committing to try to cut him off from joining the fight, as you can see in the bot lane. Like, they're just trying to prevent Hanzo from getting on here.
Basically what Tempest drafted into this, let's just flash in together and see who wins. They're going for it. They're taking the position on the shrines lower in number. Of course, they started later. Tracer does not get hit, and Hanatan he's gonna find himself dead right in. He pulled in by himself with that jump propulsion.
Yeah, even with the armor, it's not gonna be enough to save him. Lockdown getting caught here, but the shrine is completely controlled now by Tempest, despite the early deficit in defenders. Oh, big commitment here for Sai.
Dude also gets rooted right after. Another pulse bomb already.
The pulse was really good. If that pulse doesn't connect, this commitment actually could have backfired. But it guarantees them the kill, forces everyone from Feliz away. And as you can see, Hanatan heading back top lane, they know this is a lost shrine. So, nice victory here for Tempest. Very important first Arcane Punisher.
Are you satisfied, Wolf?
I'm satisfied.
From that team fight?
Yeah.
They got 2 kills. Those only.
The pulse bomb was what made it work, I'm satisfied. I'm not dissatisfied. I'm not elated, okay, but I'm feeling good about it.
All right, it's only the start though. I mean, Feliz, they have been having some trouble with the macro big time, even against Supernova. But if Tempest is willing to just team fight all the time and known as a team who's actually like one of the best team fighting team Tempest is. But at least they do have chance because they have Maiev, which can just turn everything around after 10. It is possible if Tempest actually makes some mistakes in the shrine, they just annihilate 3-4 members. They can just have a massive comeback.
Yeah, they can also, you know, potentially overextend, which we saw a lot of yesterday. This is not the pulse bomb they were looking for. Completely absorbed by Iron Skin there. As good as soloing the cap. Hanzo becomes such a macro DPS when played like we've seen Poik and Good do it. So, we're getting closer and closer to that point where we could see a lot of dives to try to kill Blaze in the Sonya Blaze matchup. Or Good's just gonna be looking for that support arrow.
It is also because Hanzo can clear the camp by himself so quickly. You catch up the timing with the macros so quickly just by yourself.
Yep, he finishes his arrow, scatter arrow at 532. I mean, normally this is 3-6. This is a pretty standard timing. That was the saddest charge we ever saw. Lockdown had all of his blink charges.
It is oftentimes going to be like that. It's really hard to catch a Tracer with the Jet Propulsion. Even if you press that E, you do have that slight delay at the beginning before you use the skill. So
it makes a loud sound. You know, there's a vocal or a
that too. Not as loud as the Haka coming into a brush.
That's quite loud as well. All right, so look at this rotation at 10. Watch this. Watch the main map, everybody. Everybody watches. Rotation was going up here. They want to stop the rotation up. They want to dive onto Blaze. Look at Hanzo. He's waiting because they're gonna have arrow.
Yes.
Feliz sees this. They shut this down, but Sign and Lockdown are trying to prevent the rotation or prevent the mounts, so they could actually go up and dive Blaze. Blaze also went under fort. Because this rotation is becoming so common at 10 with Hanzo, they actually read it. Feliz read it perfectly.
Read it?
And upvote it, man.
Keep going.
They read it perfectly, so this push does not actually happen. In fact, they're just going to rotate mid now and they get the wall. It's successful. Feliz has to respect it because of the 10, but they wanted that gank, that level 10 gank that we see on Blaze all the time with this Hanzo pick. Not gonna happen. But really nice read by Feliz. We are going to see the 7-sided come in.
Yes, and they're trying to, which doesn't really make sense to me completely, because after watching so many kills happening onto Phoenix and the Tracer Pulse Bomb cannot be stopped too often, I was expecting a Palm very likely because they can't really isolate when they have like a false stat with the Mighty Guts, just isolate 1 or 2 with the 7-sided. Maybe they can get a kill like that.
I think it's mostly just because they have Johanna, who's supposed to be blocking the pulses, and they have the ability to grab somebody. Like, see, Sign here might have been a great 7-sided target in a more ideal scenario.
Oh, OJ.
Again, he's supposed to eat the pulse bombs. That's totally fine. That's what they want. That feels like a wasted cooldown now. Johanna's got good regen. She's going to go ahead and tap the well.
But look at that, Feliz. He can't even come in. That's what they were trying to do. OJ eats that pulse bomb, which means that they have no one in the front, and they buy that much time for him to go back and forth. Now they will come in, but they're lower in number by 11 or 13 now.
Yeah, but I like their positioning here a lot. Lockdown still doesn't have, you know, a huge threat right now. He's got no angle to pulse with. Good dodge here.
No shield to dive in and just get the bunker. Has to go in there and root it right after.
A big Twilight Dream coming through as well, but Sign is caught. He's going to be the first to go down. It's a trade, though, of the tanks. And so much damage is coming through here from Good.
Oh, Good CC, and the slow continues with the Sabo with the extra damage. So much power coming out from Phoenix.
And there you go. Pulse Bomb will make it a trade here, but it's a winning trade for Feliz. And Sign made a lot of mistakes in the early part of that fight. He kept charging into Iron Skin Johanna. He used his cooldowns to try to win the tank war so that finally maybe we'd see the blow up coming through from the Tracer. But it didn't happen that way. You know, we didn't end up seeing Lockdown able to make the big plays here. So now Feliz takes a lead, like a massive lead in this game. They're going to get a fort easily. This is not with an Arcane Punisher, but this is a Frozen Punisher. They didn't even have a good enough Punisher, or the best Punisher. It's just the scaling. You know, we're 9 minutes into the game now. Everyone's level 12, soon to be 13. And watching this game, G-Clef, I mean, suddenly you're starting to get a little bit more impressed by Supernova's win.
That was great. Manhattan just went in, provided all the slow for due to extra Sabu damage. I mean, Tempest, they wanted to fight. They always want to fight. And they have chances. They trusted their mechanics and the teamwork even without the front line. think it was possible, but in that small choke point against the Blaze, come on, it was really you're risking yourself out to the danger zone.
Yeah. It was. I've never been a huge fan of Signs of Nubrok, and in this game as well, I just feel like there are some small mistakes that led to kind of the early part of that fight going poorly for them. OJ once again the target of the pulse bomb. They're going to commit the arrow. Iron Skin is done. This time the coordination is there. This time the kill comes through. The cocoon on Nemaev means she'll be the second target.
Okay, so to Hannafin. Salvador's connected. That's crazy amount of damage from Tutu. Oh my goodness.
The synergy we're seeing with this Phoenix play is amazing. Hyde goes down here, and this game is very rapidly moving away from Tempest. Signed with a great burrow charge to prevent Dudu.
Oh, great body blocks as well.
Yeah, he actually should be able to get out here alive. Get out of here alive. Get out, maybe. He got out. He's fine.
Me angry, me attack. That's what they're saying. Blaze is just tanking front, make sure he connects, and they have to be careful.
Blaze is the anti-Tempest, man. Blaze is the anti-Tempest. They are making some big mistakes. Now, this game is not over by any means, and Tempest has... They have the comp that has better macro control. They're going to lose another fort here very likely, but, you know, Sonya's constantly staying top. She's had to make a tough decision now if you can watch the main match, she comes down or not. She's going to clear top wave and then come mid because the mid wave will have, you know, it'll be okay because there's no fort there. In fact, Tracer's already going down. So Tempest is going to still be behind in terms of 16. Yeah, they just need to be passive. They need to play passively and use the fact that they have this comp that can rotate around the map.
That's because even before, when they were focusing on the OJ, Blaze got actually extra soak of 1.5 to 2 waves on top because Sonya was waiting in that bush in the middle for such a long time. So that's why they're in a huge lead along with the kills. So they're having a happy game.
Yeah. This is going to be a bottom shrine. Let's see what Tempest decides to do about this top camp. It's going to be cleared here in a second. Notice the positioning of OJ. It's actually perfect, so no one can rotate in and invade. I don't know why we always watch, like, our new observer's obsessed with watching the camps, but
he's a camper.
He's a camper. But like watching OJ's positioning there would have been so much more important.
Maybe he was a Boy Scout a long time ago.
Maybe. But OJ prevented them from coming in for the invade, so they actually get the camp into neutral here. This forces a fight where Tempest does not have 16, and they will have to commit. Watch Sign here. Let's see how he decides to engage. Iron Skin is very much available right now, so wants to bait it out somehow, but they're losing control of the shrine. They've got the 16 now.
They're all gathered up, which is good for Hanzo to do some damage, so they're backing up. I like this choice from Feliz. Ooh, but Aimer, please, do not scare me like that.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird. Like, he was like, I'm going to set up the engagement. Your whole team was like,
I know.
Okay, this is the fight they wanted. They prevented him from Iron Skinning. Sign gets the stun. They've gotten the first pick and lost the fight before, but I don't think this time it's going to be that way. Lockdown's got good positional advantage on Dudu as well, so Dudu has to leave, or he is going to get blown up. Arrow, they hit here, but the bunker's going to come down.
7-strike panic one, and dashes out, but does not get into bunker, so he's going to be dead as well.
Okay, Dudu.
Oil from the Middle East, a little dangerous and expensive at the same time. Boom. Sorry, I've been watching too many Tastosis things.
You've been you're a little politically charged today. You know, I do have to point out that you know, what we know and refer to as the Middle East today may not exist in the Terran future where Blaze is from. You know, he probably got his oil from like Tarsonis or something. Okay, you know where that oil's from. Like, don't make assumptions.
From Alaska, maybe that has been in captivity for the last 50 years.
Well, Fort's down. Tempest takes a level lead. They're looking for a keep with this and maybe a game. Respawns are coming through, so Blaze has an opportunity to fight for the lives here. Pulse is already on. That's that teleport you're talking about. Dudu avoids the pulse bomb damage with a perfect warp. But he's still in trouble. You know, he still can't really get in and do the damage he's looking to do, so they cannot save the keep. But at least they will stay alive in this game.
Now that's the that's the least that we know of.
Yeah.
They have came back to their original form. I mean, when they were trying to team fight, they were having some maybe miscommunications in the team. Like, one wants to go in, one wants to go back. It was just a little weird. As Tempest, they learned how to actually position themselves against Tanatan's Blaze. They were not getting together into choke point. They were all spread it out. Hanzo in the back, Tracer on the side, along with Sign.
Sign was super patient in that fight as well. The one on the shrine, of course. Aimer just... He wanted to set up an engage, but they just didn't have a comp to make that happen in that way when Tempest was like spread, like you said. So, you know, look, I feel like we're being really critical of certain players today, and we're only like in the first game and first 15 minutes. So let's wait. Let's take a step back. Let's zoom out. Let's look at the bigger trend after the series. But oh boy, this is a new Brock's paradise.
This shield, and that's. Okay, does survive for such a long? No, never mind.
I mean, again, another warp from Dudu avoids the pulse, but it doesn't matter. OJ is going to go down. They went into the choke where Nubrock's going to have fun. This was a 5v4 fight as well. Like, Blaze was not there, and they still decided to fight. And Tempest just crushed them. Sign set up that fight. And here we are. Level 20's up. This is going to be a dead fort for free. Tempest is just taking small objectives on the map. There's no caps, so they're just going to try to take this push into a second keep.
They can just go straight forward. They have 20 at least. Just hit level 18. Still 20 plus seconds on Maiev.
Yeah, I mean, this should be a free keep. They could even try to convert it into the Shaman camps that have just now
just
respawned.
Keep and then maybe wait for the next shrine, and Feliz maybe close to like 19.5 maybe by the next shrine is almost done already, and Tempest will pick that up easily, and that should be the core that Tempest should be thinking right now. So Feliz, what can they do? Go off to the side, have Blaze, make sure your teammate does not get caught, just like what happened in the top.
Yeah, I mean, Dudu was able to sneak some soak, at least, but they're not going to get 20. In fact, he went down bot for a minute because there's a lot of free soak there because of the keep push, but he's being indecisive. If you watch the minimap, you can actually see Dudu rotating between mid and bottom furiously, but not actually getting any waves because he's just so indecisive. Okay, this is a nice move.
Sign does come in, and Sonya does survive
Here's
so
the arrow.
well.
Arrow comes through, massive stun there. Salvo not going to do too much in this fight. The silence here means he can't warp away. Lockdown grabs the kill. This cage isn't going to do anything. Here comes Sign with the double stuns. Lockdown's just popping off right now. Aimer, don't even think he has vault. Nope. And this should be the wipe to end the game. OJ not going to last very long against those scatter arrows, and that's just going to be head and bot, where there are 3 catapults in waiting. And that is GG, my friends. 1, 2, 3, count them. 3 catapults here.
Focus Sonya, and couldn't stop her. And they put too many CC, I would say. And once the Whirlwind started, they had no other CC to actually stop her from healing back from all those hero damage. That was massive healing, a lot more than Malfurion healing actually. Just by herself doing all the attack. That's game 1.
Game 1 in Tempest's favor. Well, I think the thing we have to keep saying about Tempest for the 2 matches they've now played, you know, or are still playing the second, right, their 4th game, is that they don't look clean. They have some moments, you know. See OJ wink at me. He's like, "Don't worry, like, Garrosh next game."
I practiced.
But yeah, I just feel like it hasn't been as clean as we expect from them. There are moments where you look and say, "Okay, this is the Tempest we know. This is the coordination we've seen in team fights." But there are also moments where it feels like things fall apart. They very clearly wanted to use that level 10 fight to ambush Blaze in the top lane, and Hanaten and everybody on the side of Feliz knew about it. Like, if you go back and watch the VOD where I said look at the minimap, watch what Hanaten does. He like goes behind the fort until they confirm that Sign is there for the dismounts in mid, and he's like, oh, okay, I'm safe. Because that's a fight where like you don't have 10, good shoots the arrow across, and you're out in the lane, you're dead. Like, we've seen it 1,000 times, especially with a Nubarok. So that was really a smart play by Feliz all game long. We might actually have a real series on our hands here, which I did not expect.
Yeah, Tempest, they did not look too crisp. It seemed like they were McDonald's fries after 5 hours. Do you really want to eat that soggy, cold, dead fries?
Wait, can you further explain this analogy?
Like, they're not crisp.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Like, even with a ketchup, I don't know. Like, I have a barbecue sauce on it. Like,
Oh man. Well, you know, for me, like, the drafting we're seeing from Feliz is straight up just like big mat mediums. You know, not even the large set. You know.
Oh,
like,
the junior set?
yeah.
Ew.
Well, no, not the junior one. I just mean like you get it and they're like, do you want to supersize it? You're like, nah. Like we've been seeing these drafts where like we got Maev, aha, and then we have a standard draft. We got the Blaze, and then we're seeing the drafts we saw against Supernova where they're like, look at the Jaina, we have the burst damage, we stole the Blaze away. And it's like not bad drafting. It's just not it has no flavor, and the synergy in game itself feels like a little bit off. But I do want to say that I thought OJ's play that last game was pretty phenomenal. Like he blocked all the pulse bombs he needed to. His iron skins were really good. He prevented rotations to the top lane multiple times. He prevented invades with Johanna there as well. It looks like when OJ's on a hero, we could just press D and walk out of anything. Like, he looks good. Like, he looked really good on Johanna.
Well, Johanna is one of the, I guess, an easier one to actually just walk out whenever you just press the iron skin.
D and your
I think
iron
it was
skin's
also
up.
a very step-up movement lots of the time by Hannington, providing some space for OJ to actually walk out and provide all the slows, so in the back line with the Phoenix can just salvo everyone and do that crazy damage. I mean, that came in, and that's why Tempest was struggling to win the team fight 2 times in a row.
Yeah, I feel like Blaze, we keep joking Blaze is the anti-Tempest, because like Tempest loves to just dive in and go for a big collapsing team fight, especially when Signs on Nubrock, and you just bunker, it's like, oh no, now we're not in the right place, we don't want to be here. And then Salvo is also just like, oh, you're all in the same place, like, beep, 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 and then, yeah.
You just scan that and make sure I don't even know what I'm talking about right now, so. Is it way too much sugar plus chocolate and coffee?
I don't know, what chocolate? Did
Like
you get, oh, you brought the
mocha.
Crunky. Oh, it's not Crunky. It's the mocha one, okay. G-Glef's got chocolate, guys. I'm sorry.
It's okay. For match 2, if I crash, you guys will probably notice, but I'm okay for now.
We got the Tempest macaroons here as well if you need them.
I'm not eating it. You can take it.
Yeah, they were for me. I saved them for you, but if you want to reject, that's fine.
I will officially reject Wolf's
The Tempest fans bring us snacks and drinks sometimes, so.
But we're never biased, as everyone says. And Wolf is never biased.
I've never been biased for MVP Black.
Yeah, MVP Black, for KSP Black.
I noticed all the Reddit comments
never
say
ever.
Wolf is very impartial. Like, I really like his commentary. It's super unbiased. He's never ever said that the best team in the world, who's like won 3 back-to-back global championships, was like the strongest team in the league. Like, that would be crazy for him to say. That would be very biased because this team has 3 titles, and to say that the team was the favorite would have been absolutely bonkers crazy. So thank God Wolf doesn't do that, because when it's Gen G versus the number 8 team, and Wolf says, I think this could be a one-side series, I personally feel offended. No, we're going to Dragonshire for game number 2. Tempest map pick, no surprise.
Can actually have a big comeback. This game, it was actually Tempest having some massive comeback against some Gen Gs, against some Ballistics games, where they were basically losing like 14, 15 minutes, and then one Dragon Knight right after that, just 3 forts down, and then the next one goes to Keep, and then all the way to Core.
Yeah, I mean, when you win the late game team fights with the Death Timers along, or the Dragon Knights scaled up, to win the game, like, Heroes of the Storm is a game that's designed to have shorter game time than other MOBAs. That's just how it was programmed. You could read developer interviews and stuff since Dustin Browder was the lead designer back in like 2014, 2015.
Really?
Yeah, the game is designed to be played shorter than other MOBAs.
Why did I have like 40+ minute games in Volskaya?
Well, I mean, that's...
well, it changed now.
Yeah.
So.
But like, Heroes is designed to, have longer death timers, obviously, as other MOBAs do, but the objective scales so massively on most maps, minus the Volskaya there and some other maps in the past that have, like Dragonshire, for example, was a really long map for a while because the objective wasn't buffed. Spider Queen, all these things have been changed. Well, the game's time is supposed to be like 20 minutes maximum on an average game, right? So because of the way that the game is designed, when you do get that late game Dragon Knight and the death timers are longer and it's scaled up and you've got that 1 fort down, if you get a kill, like, it's over. That's how the game works. So late game team fights are more important. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Like, not every team fight in the game is equal. If you win that sick team wipe at level 1, literally doesn't matter if, it's 16 minutes into the game, your opponent team wipes you. That one is like 20 times more important, right? So.
But you do keep the lead because if you have a higher level, you have You have more damage, you have more HP, and
Sure,
all
I'm
that
just talking about team
combined.
fights only, right? If you win the level 1 fight and get a wipe and get 2 walls down and like get the level 4 talents faster and steal all the camps, like sure. I'm just talking about in terms of like value versus you know, how much death timer there is, how much objective scaling there is throughout the game. I don't know, guys. We got a technical difficulty on this. I'm just like ranting about nothing right now. Oh my god. Okay.
It is Wolf complaining time.
I'm not complaining. I'm just talking about, you know, some aspects of the game. And you know, when people say like, let's go take a boss after we get the team wipe when death timers are over 60 seconds, I do lose my mind a little bit sometimes.
Let's go to camp. That one's free.
Hold on, I need to do Siege Giants. No, you don't.
Oh, we got cursed. Let's go, boss. Like, there's no one on the other side. Best strategy, right?
Oh my god. Don't do it.
But we are ready, though.
All right.
Of course, we're joking, guys. And do not take us seriously sometimes. Do take us seriously in game.